And we're joined now by Madison O'Malley, candidate for the State House of Representatives, District 91 in New Orleans. She is a person who interned for the city's public defender's office, worked in a local hospital's emergency room during the COVID-19 pandemic. She's in her 20s, and her goal was to become an active member of the community, and now she is running for state representative against an incumbent. And good morning to you, Madison O'Malley.
Good morning. It's not every week I get to start the week off on Talk Louisiana, so I'm excited to share with you.
Well, you are running, and why are you taking on a person who has the power of incumbency?
Well, I think when I look at the race in general, and I look at the biggest needs of the district, I'm taking on a legislator that has been ineffective when addressing the biggest concerns of the district as a whole. So I'll start with that, and I think the top reasons that I'm running are to address our property insurance crisis right now, our needs in healthcare, and then our needs in education. And the incumbent has not been able to do any of those things.
Well, the incumbent we're talking about is Mandy Freeman. And she, at one point, I believe, switched to no party and then went back to the Democratic Party. You are a Democrat. New Orleans is a Democratic city. Did that have anything to do with you getting in the race?
So I was committed to running, and that really furthered my commitment to running. I think we need somebody that remains consistent no matter what. I think because we're dealing with a supermajority in the House, that even makes this need for us to remain members of our own party and to build the coalitions there very, very important. So I think the district deserves a committed and loyal Democrat, and that's what they are going to get with me as a candidate.
The candidate I mentioned, who is the incumbent, is Mandy Landry, and she is a person who represents a district that I would say is left of center, and so Democrats do well in New Orleans, but a listener makes a good point, and it's been said on this show before, Madison O'Malley, that Democrats statewide, at least white Democrats, are not doing that well. I think you can pretty much count on two hands the number of white Democrats in the state legislature right now.
Yes. So I think, like you've said, we have to forge alliances with members of our own party. And at the end of the day, when you think about the reasons why I'm a Democrat and the reasons that I can work best as a Democrat, come back to like working class values. My dad is a truck driver and is a laborer and was a member of a union. So I think about the most important issues to my family, and those happen to be home ownership, the cost of living, public education, and making sure that we had health care if somebody was sick. So if you stick to those things, I think there's a lot of ground to cover within the district, and I think there's a wide appeal when you're talking about all Louisianians with those issues.
877-217-5757 and talk at talklouisiana.org if you'd like to get in under the wire with Madison O'Malley, State House of Representatives, District 91, New Orleans candidate. That primary is the same day as the one for governor and lieutenant governor and all the statewide offices, October 14th. She's opposing the incumbent Mandy Landry, who, of course, has been an active member of the legislature. Is there anything that she has done or has not done that you find fault with?
So when I'm knocking doors right now, two of the biggest things that come up are property damage. My background, I started a company that is working on behalf of homeowners inspecting their properties after Hurricane Ida. So dealing with so many of those cases and so many of those people, she's never posed a solution or never proposed a bill that directly affects our property damage crisis right now. And then the second thing I hear is infrastructure and our public safety.
877-217-5757. We'll take a short break and come back with Madison O'Malley. You're listening to Talk Louisiana. Robin Dow and Asia Gillard are producing, and your number is 877-217-5757. We're spending a bit more time with Madison O'Malley, and hopefully we'll also have Representative Landry on. Landry's become quite a name in Louisiana politics. The front runner for governor has that name, and as we've noted, there are about 20,000 Landrys in the state of Louisiana. But Madison O'Malley has a great name, and she is running for office, and it's always tough to beat an incumbent. And in this case, it's two white females running for office. And a listener asks about the choice issue. Is that something that is on the front burner, or do the two candidates, as far as you know, have similar positions, Madison?
So working in healthcare, it's always been a big concern of mine. I think healthcare, we need to be pro-choice, and we're seeing that throughout the state just with the current climate. I know my opponent is very vocal and shares that, so that is something that I don't think we will find much disagreement on.
Will there be debates? Will the two of you be on the same stage together?
I'm expecting that. I hope so. I hope we'll get the chance to kind of talk through some of these issues together.
877-217-5757, Phil in Jefferson Terrace. You're on with Madison O'Malley. Good morning, Phil.
Good morning, Jim. And then thank you for getting into this mess of Louisiana local politics. First of all, are there more Democratic voters registered in the state? And the other thing is, are people beginning to fling fistfuls of dark money cash at you? And thank you for being involved.
All right, Phil. There are certainly more Democrats in your district, and I'll check the statewide numbers. Democrats used to be a majority of the state. That's still not the case, but I believe that Democrats still are a plurality, although Republicans and independents are growing in recent times, and Democrats' numbers are dwindling in the state. But I think the Democratic Party has a plurality of the vote. But in your district, have you churned the numbers, Madison, as far as...
Yes. So my district actually, it voted for John Bell at over 90%. So we're a very strong district. And so those are good numbers.
Well, John Bell in two races in Baton Rouge got 2/3 of the votes twice. So he was popular in some places, and of course, not exactly popular in others. And as I've noted, those numbers with Donald Trump, in which he got 85% of the white vote statewide. Well, also John Bell Edwards won despite getting just a little over 30% of the white vote. But he didn't have a candidate get 85% against him. If he had, he would not be in public life right now. That's just the way it is, because Democrats statewide, when they run, they need to get about 30 to 35% of the white vote, depending on turnout, and it's almost a given that they'll get almost 95% of the black vote. Now, in your district, as far as the racial breakdown, Madison, what is it?
So it is now closer to 50-50. Previously, it was not. Before redistricting, this was a minority district. Now it's closer to 55% white, and then we have about 42% black in the district.
Okay. Do you know if there will be other candidates? Are there any other people to announce in this race?
I'm not sure. I don't expect. I think we're off to a good start, so I think it'll just be my opponent and I.
A head-up race on October 14th. Now, turnout has been a factor, and I must say, a disappointing factor. In Louisiana, we vote far more heavily for presidential elections than we do for governor's elections, and you'll be on the same ballot as the governor's election on October 14th. But in that district, is turnout consistent with the way it is in other parts of the state?
Yeah, so I think we'll expect somewhere around 35%. I know with Sean as our candidate, we may get some more turnout in New Orleans, which would be great. But I think we'll have a relatively low turnout, around 35 or 40% at a high end.
Are you supporting Sean Wilson?
I am. He is our Democratic candidate for governor. So he is our good choice.
Well, right now he's the only one running among Democrats, and it would seem that because of that, he will have a legitimate shot of If he makes the runoff, then he's in the hunt. 877-217-5757. I believe we have Emily in Milwaukee who is calling Madison. Good morning, Emily. Good morning. You're on Talk Louisiana? Nope, we lost her, so I don't know what happened there. But this is a case in which some would say, look, you could run for an office without an incumbent, but you chose this one, and it has a Democrat who, as you say, shares a lot of the same points of view as you. But did you give any thoughts about running for other positions in lieu of this one?
No, I did not. And I thought about a lot of the issues that were most important, and everything, again, came down to fixing things at the state level. So when I thought about issues that directly impacted work after post-IDA, I guess the post-pandemic and healthcare, all the policy was state level. So this was something that I felt was relevant to our issues right now.
Well, it's a race in which turnout could be a factor, and I know a lot of, as it is in every race, but I mean in a legislative race, it's about getting your voters out. Are you going in this 120-degree heat index situation? Are you going door to door?
I am doing a lot of door to door, and we started early with door to door, so we have been knocking away. It is hot out there, but it makes a difference. And I think in this race, you have the ability to reach almost every voter and shake their hand. So I think door to door is the only way to do it.
And responding to the other question about party registration in Louisiana, right now in Louisiana, we have 2,969,000 registered voters. Of those, 1,159,000 are Democrats. 1,116,000 are Republicans. Actually, that's 1,116,000, not 1,116,000. It's 116,000. So, and independents now up to 810,726. So, as a state lawmaker, you're going to be involved potentially in reapportionment. That was an issue this past go around, and now the congressional districts look like they're going to have to be either redrawn by the legislature or by a judge. Would you favor two minority districts as far as congressional seats in Louisiana? Madison O'Malley?
Yes, definitely. I think two minority legislative seats represent our population, and that is what I would definitely advocate for that.
Well, we thank you for joining us, and good luck to you. It's a pleasure to catch somebody who's got the courage to get in the race, and you're young and vigorous and obviously have some great qualities, candidate skills, and we'll see how it goes. But thanks for being with us, and maybe this is the first of a few times. I hope so. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thanks again. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Madison. Take care. Good luck to you.